I'm Angie, and you're watching Dontaesboxingnation.
Devin Haney, the 8th fighter in the four-belt era to become the undisputed champion of the world. How does that sound?
Alhamdulillah, all praise due to Allah. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So after Devin Haney became the undisputed champion of the lightweight division at age 23, ESPN, who covered the fight, they put up their new updated pound-for-pound list and had Lomachenko ranked above Devin Haney. Remember, Devin Haney, who just beat George Kambosos, George, who beat Teofimo, and Teo, who beat Lomachenko. So even though Lomachenko, he pretty much lost in this tournament, while Devin Haney ended up winning the Super Bowl, because of ESPN's bias agenda, they're giving Devin Haney more of a reason to want the Lomachenko fight. They are putting a bigger target on Lomachenko's back by saying that he's pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. That's just going to make Devin want to fight Loma more. That's going to make fighters like Shakur Stevenson want to fight Loma that much more. But it's not only Devin that wants this fight. ESPN, they really want this fight because they truly still believe that Lomachenko is this matrix that should be compared to Floyd Mayweather or Sugar Ray Robinson. But there's one person in particular that came out that works for ESPN, and he said that Devin Haney, he beats Lomachenko. He also beats Tank Davis.
I'm not gonna lie to you, but I can tell you this. Haney, on the other hand, I'm gonna let you guys know right now. I think at the 135-pound limit, I think Haney might be the last one standing. And everybody's saying, what? Who? Huh? I know y'all what y'all saying right now. Yeah. Yeah, Tank, yeah. I'm saying, you know, Garcia, yeah, you can get that word too. You know, I'm saying Lomachenko, yeah, you can get that word too. And everybody like, oh, wait, he don't punch hard, he don't this. Everybody keep making excuses for Haney. But what y'all fail to realize is that that boy is sweet tactically. That boy is long. He's strong. He got physical strength. He got good defense to go along with his offense. He's active up front with his jab. He's active with his combinations and countering. Like, there's a lot to Haney. And now you imagine a Devin Haney and Tank fight. You saw Rolly, what Rolly was doing, you know, and you say, well, Tank, Haney don't have the same punching power as Rolly, so how is he gonna keep him off? He gonna keep him off with controlling that distance outside with those long ass arms he got. That's what he gonna do, and he gonna move circles. Now I say Tank got a puncher's chance, no doubt about it, a puncher's chance in beating a Haney. But I'm not gonna lie, if they fought, I would favor Haney. He's a slickster, man. I'm telling you right now. And the better the competition, the better Haney you see, as you saw against Kambosos.
So does that mean you would also take Haney over Lomachenko?
Yes, I will also take Haney over Lomachenko.
You're not even hesitating,
I'm not hesitating, bro. I will take Haney over Lomachenko. Come on, dog. I'm going with Haney, the young gun. Active up front with that jab, boxing ability, sweet right hand, get in and out, make Loma miss, make that small guy swing at air. That's what it's all about. Just like he did against Kambosos. Made Kambosos swing in that air. Phew, phew. He was air conditioning the whole crowd. I felt it down there. I said, ooh-wee. Ooh-wee, it's chilly down here, you know. It was beautiful boxing, man. And I'm sorry. I'm being honest with you. And so, you know, it is what it is, you know.
Now, let me just start by saying this. Tim Bradley, he broke that down really well. He really made a lot of great points. When it comes to Devin Haney versus Lomachenko, right after Devin Haney completely dominated George Kambosos, I watched that fight a couple of times. And then after that, I started to watch some Lomachenko fights to get a better idea of how a potential fight like that would play out. So I went back and I watched Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez. The first thing you notice in that fight is Teofimo Lopez completely nullified Lomachenko's offense just by controlling range, by throwing that jab out there and controlling distance. In fact, before Lomachenko and ESPN start making all of these shoulder excuses for why Lomachenko lost, Loma actually admitted after the fight the reason why he didn't let his hands go is because he felt that he was never in range to throw a punch without getting countered. These were Lomachenko's own words. But we already knew that the whole shoulder excuse, the shoulder injury excuse, was a lie because Lomachenko started to use his right shoulder in the second half of the fight. And if you can use your shoulder, how can you use that as an excuse for why you lost? When a fighter has a real injury, they no longer use that hand or shoulder anymore, like Gervonta Tank Davis when he fought Isaac Cruz, like Gary Russell when he lost to Mark Moxeo. That's how someone with a serious injury performs. They're fighting only with one hand. So as Devin Haney said he would do to George Kambosos, Teofimo pretty much handicapped everything that Lomachenko wanted to do in that fight. In fact, when Lomachenko realized he was behind on the scorecards, Loma decided to let his hands go. And when he did let his hands go, exactly what he was worried about actually happened. He was getting caught. Lomachenko, he started to get hit with a lot more clean shots than he was getting caught with when he was being extremely defensive in the first 6 rounds. And this is the reason why Lomachenko decided to surrender his belt when Devin Haney was his mandatory, as opposed to defending your belts as a champion is supposed to do. By way of contrast, at least compared to Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney is levels above Teofimo. Devin has a much higher IQ than Teofimo Lopez. Speaking of that, that's another great point that Tim Bradley made when he was doing this interview. He brought up the point that you have a lot of these fans that try to say, oh, well, Devin Haney, he doesn't have any power, etc., etc. But Tim Bradley said this game is 90% mental. And he's absolutely right. I have told you guys on my channel numerous times that if you look at the history of the sport, 90% of the time, the fighter with the least power often beats the fighter who has all the power in the world. Brains beats brawn and brute force power almost every single time. Almost every opponent that Floyd Mayweather faced had more power than him, especially after he moved up 5 weight classes. He was fighting against guys that were 15 to 20 pounds bigger than him. When it comes to Pernell Whitaker, every single opponent Pernell Whitaker faced had more power than him. Ali versus Foreman, and the list just goes on and on and on. Not to mention, Lomachenko himself has never been known for his power. A lot of the stoppages that he gets is from accumulation. Now, another fight that I watched when it came to Lomachenko was Loma versus Linares. And it's crazy, man, because when you go back and watch that fight, you would be amazed. Well, if you didn't watch the fight a whole bunch of times, you would be amazed how easy Linares was able to hit Lomachenko with everything in the book. He was catching Lomachenko with straight rights over and over. He was catching him with check left hooks. He was catching him with uppercuts, with body shots. And this was throughout the fight. Remember, Linares is the one that knocked Lomachenko down with a lead right hand. So the conclusion is, if Teofimo can completely nullify Lomachenko's offense and Linares can hit Lomachenko at will, it's going to be a hell of an uphill battle for Lomachenko to beat someone as gifted, as intelligent, with the reflexes and the athleticism and the long reach that a Devin Haney has. Devin Haney is definitely showing flashes of a Floyd Mayweather because of the simple fact that the better the competition is, the better Devin Haney performs. Only the very, very special fighters can pull that off. Now, not only did Tim Bradley pick Devin Haney to beat Lomachenko, he also picked him to beat Tank Davis, but he hedged his bet with Tank having a puncher's chance. Tim Bradley pointed out the fact that Rolly Romero was able to control distance when he was fighting against Gervonta Tank Davis. You guys may recall, I told you on one of my videos that Ryan Garcia might actually be serious about now taking the Gervonta Tank Davis fight because of what he's seen against Romero, Gervonta versus Romero. Because Ryan had always said, You know, you're going to need a ladder to hit me. You too small to reach me, etc., etc. I told you guys it's very possible that the Romero fight may have given Ryan Garcia even more confidence to take the Gervonta Tank Davis fight because of the fact, once again, Romero was doing pretty well, controlling range and just throwing that jab out there. At least he was doing pretty good before he got knocked out by Tank. I completely agree with Tim Bradley that Gervonta, he definitely has the best eraser in the game right now. Gervonta could easily be behind in a fight and bail himself out of trouble with his power. But just in terms of winning rounds, it would seem that Devin would definitely have an edge in that potential fight against Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta, he would have to work really hard to close the gap and get close enough to land punches against Devin Haney. Now, Tim Bradley, he wrapped this segment up by saying the only fighter that he believed could actually beat Devin Haney was Shakur Stevenson. You know, Tim Bradley's whole breakdown just shows you how many levels there are in the sport of boxing. And there's no doubt about it. Fighters like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are on the highest level, regardless who you think wins that fight. So while ESPN's Tim Bradley feels that Shakur Stevenson has the edge over Devin Haney, he feels Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson have the edge over all the other fighters at 135. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this video is how Tim Bradley ended that piece right there. You guys notice how he said, "I'm sorry, but it is what it is," etc., etc.
You know, it was beautiful boxing, man, and I'm sorry. I'm being honest with you. And so, you know, it is what it is, you know.
Sorry for what? You don't have to apologize. The reason why I'm bringing this up, because if you watch my very last video about Terrence Crawford, this is exactly what I was talking about. In this interview, Tim Bradley, he didn't hold anything back. He spoke the whole truth, but he ends it with, "I'm sorry." Because even though Tim Bradley spoke the whole truth, he knows he just said something that 99% of the non-black fans did not want to hear, which obviously includes old media. Tim Bradley has to say, "I'm sorry," because he knows the racist fans don't want to hear the truth. Matter of fact, I can give you guys a perfect example of what I'm talking about. And coincidentally, this story involves Tim Bradley. Now, going into the Juan Manuel Marquez fight, I had already been making videos breaking down why Tim Bradley would beat Juan Manuel Marquez. Juan Marquez had been avoiding Tim Bradley for about a good 2 years. Bradley was constantly calling out Marquez. Marquez kept making all these excuses why he didn't want to fight Tim Bradley. As soon as Tim Bradley nearly lost to Ruslan Provodnikov, the very next day it felt like, at least the very next week, Marquez said he wants to fight Tim Bradley. I made my prediction video picking Tim Bradley to win that fight, and I can tell you guys right now, even though I gave a complete breakdown of why I believe Tim Bradley was going to win this fight, that didn't stop a flood of racist comments that came straight from Mexican fans. Most of them were Mexican fans living in America. Now, in my Terrence Crawford video, I was telling you, despite the fact that black Americans, they completely dominate the sport of boxing. They have been dominating the sport of boxing since the inception. That is a fact. But the one weakness that black Americans have, their kryptonite is racist fans, old media. They are always worried about what these racist fans will say about them. They're always worried about their comment section when it comes to their Twitter, their Instagram. This is the reason why Terrence Crawford, he put Inoue at number 2 below him, above Errol Spence, above Jermell Charlo, Devin Haney, and the list goes on and on. Despite the fact that Terrence Crawford couldn't name 5 opponents that Inoue has beat. It doesn't matter if Terrence Crawford knows who Inoue is or not. The only thing that matters to Terrence Crawford is old media said that this is the guy that we want to replace you. This is the guy we want to replace Canelo Alvarez. So Terrence Crawford, he obliges. and puts a Noe at number 2. Listen, I'm going to wrap this video up by saying you don't have to apologize when you're speaking the whole truth. And you also don't have to cater to old media's agenda just to make them feel better. By the way, the image, the tweet that I had up on the screen, or Instagram, whatever it was, that was Stephen Fulton's page, where he was called racial slurs just because he said, "Let's go champ," to his countryman Caleb Plant when he was fighting against Canelo Alvarez. And as you guys could see, Mexican racist Canelo Alvarez fans start calling him a monkey. So at the end of the day, you don't have to apologize. You don't have to revise anything that you say. I mean, just ask yourself, do you think old media, ESPN, do you think they would ever apologize for the most ridiculous pound-for-pound list that they put up? ESPN didn't even apologize when they put the wrong graphic up on the screen. They removed the loss from Lomachenko's record as they put the graphic up during the broadcast. And it wasn't the first time they did it. They actually did it twice. So when they won't even retract or apologize when they are flat out lying, don't ever apologize when you're telling the whole truth. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.
My name is Chris, and I'm all the way here from Anchorage, Alaska at ScalpCarolinas, and I'm here for my second treatment of SMP. Well, I was sitting at home one day and going over my Facebook page, and they have different, like advertisements popping up, and I saw one for SMP, and I saw some pictures of some guys, before and after, and I was looking at that, and it caught my attention, so I Googled it. SMP, nothing showed up in my area. So, I did a little more research, and all of a sudden, ScalpCarolinas popped up in the web browser. So I started watching his videos and seeing all the reaction from all the other people. We talked on the phone, we made appointments and everything. I sent him pictures, and he looked at them, and I was like, "Can you fix this?" And, he pretty much said, "No problem." My first session, he made me feel extremely comfortable. It was almost like I was talking to family. He started, and during the whole treatment, we talked and, about our families and our life, and, and things that he does and things that I do. And before I know it, the first session was over. When you see someone doing something that they love, as much as I see Enoch Glover love what he does, it shows in his work. I wouldn't point anyone in any other direction but here to North Carolina, ScalpCarolinas, to get this done.